You're with us here on BTTV. Let's take a look at markets this afternoon. Holding steady. Finally, I think everyone's gone off for their holidays, so we're not seeing any major, roller coaster kind of movements that we saw last week. Pretty much flat on your screens, as you can see. Well, what's really in store? That's the big question now as we move forward. And in fact, the last couple of days, we've also seen mid-caps, small caps bounce back somewhat. So will we see strength also return perhaps to some of the broader markets? That's the other question. Let me welcome in Raj Deepak, who's joining us on the show today. Raj, good to have you with us. Let's first get your overall sense on the market trajectory. It seems to be pretty steady and quiet now. Do you think this is how it's going to last till the end of the year as volumes remain low?
Good afternoon, Aabha. First of all, thank you for having me today. Regarding markets, I believe that recent weakness in the market was quite healthy, considering sharp up move which we have seen in last couple of months. Nifty has outperformed most of the global markets. I was expecting some year-end flows to support markets, but that hasn't happened, and even Nifty has moved below 18,100 levels. But the way market has taken a quick recovery and moved above it, led by your banking heavyweights and even technology, has shown a significant resilience. I believe that positive bias should continue in short to mid-term.
All right. Interesting. Do you feel that, when you're talking about a positive bias, what's the pecking order for you? Let's just talk sectors for a moment. It was a year for financials, capital goods, even maybe mid-cap IT one could throw in there perhaps. I mean, what would be the pecking order for you going into the new year?
I will still believe that banking is going to be the leader with a weight of almost 25% of just banking stock. And if you have the BFSI overall, then it will be having 35 to 38% weight in Nifty. So I don't see without participation from the BFSI space, Nifty can move higher, much higher. So yes, first of all, it will be banking, but I also believe that up to a certain extent, we have seen bottoming out for the technology pack. At least that's how I had read the data, and I believe that a couple of months we might see a good recovery in the entire IT pack, and obviously that would be led by the first heavyweights, and then we can look into the mid-cap stocks.
Okay. All right, fair enough. So banking really where it continues to be at. Would you also prefer sticking within the financials to the private sector names, maybe the frontline stocks? Are you hunting within the broader financial basket?
See, if I look from the fund flow perspective, then I believe, yes, your private sector bank will be there. And also this merger, SDFC twin merger, is likely to infuse a lot of fund flow into the, at least in some of the banking names, particularly in SDFC Bank, obviously. The cumulative free float for the SDFC Bank is supposed to be somewhere around 12.5 lakh crores. So that would be more than 14% or somewhere around 13 to 14% weight in Nifty. So as of now, what we believe that additional fund flow, which that will drive this SDFC Bank, and SDFC Bank should be the leader of the next move in the banking index. That's what I believe.
Okay. On the F&O side, Raj, actually, I'm going to ask you to perhaps give me a couple of the picks that you feel, worth mentioning on the F&O side of things, given the kind of recent traction we've seen. What's cropping up on your radar?
See, first of all, if you look at the settlement, tomorrow's settlement, then VWAP of the series is tagged below 18,500. So, and also we are witnessing this significant call writing at ATM between 2000 call strike. So yes, Nifty has to move above these levels. Then perhaps we can talk about the short covering up move. But again, we have this year end on Friday. So from the fund flow perspective, we might see some good flows tomorrow as well as day after. So that should help Nifty to move higher. And I'll be trading long in Nifty with a stop loss somewhere around 18,050. And regarding stocks, there are a couple of stocks where we have seen significant shorts, and those short positions are not getting rolled into the next series. As of now, they are underperformers. But the names like Voltas, I would say if it is able to sustain above 810 or 820, then we might see a round of short covering move in the stock.
Okay, interesting. On the consumer front, do you feel perhaps that there is scope right now, and where in the consumer basket would it be? Other discretionaries? Would it be other retail counters, for instance, that are looking attractive? For example, a big buy coming in on metro shoes, for instance.
Metro is not part of F&O, and
Of course.
yeah.
But broadly speaking, from the consumer basket, do you feel that there has been recent buzz and we've been seeing demand very much intact? So would anything there, would that still be a theme that you feel confident about?
See, consumer discretionary as a space has taken somehow a bit hit recently in terms of prices. But we believe that from the January quarter onwards, there might be some up move over there. So yes, overall the space, we would like to go for a bit of staggered buying in this sector, not exactly bottom fishing sort of thing, which we would like to do at current levels.
Okay. In terms of the overall sort of action that you anticipate this settlement, given the recent shakiness in the markets, should we be expecting much volatility in today's session as we wind up the year?
Yeah, definitely, Bob. Suppose tomorrow is your settlement, and without volatility, there can't be a settlement. So what we believe that the 18,200 call strike is some now having more than 1 crore shares. So if Nifty starts trading above those levels and even closer to those levels, then we might see that covering leg tomorrow. And as I said earlier also, the fund flow perspective, year-end fund flows are likely to be there. India has been outperforming. So yes, a greater pie should be towards us. So we might see some positive momentum in next couple of sessions today, tomorrow, as well as day after tomorrow.
Okay, still could see some amount of negative moves coming in. We have been seeing buying, as I mentioned, in capital goods, autos, FMCG, real estate, selling coming in, at least from FPIs, in consumer durables, oil and gas, power, financial, some of these pockets, broadly speaking, in the first half of December. On the FPI front, going forward, it remains to be seen whether they decide to remain cautious or, of course, start to pick up in sentiment post-China reopening and so on and so forth. But, in terms of key barometers that you're tracking for 2023, we're counting down to budget as well, Raj. What would you be eyeing as we kickstart the new year? What would you be picking up in the fresh series, for example?
From the data perspective, you can look at a couple of things. First is the volatility. So here we have moved a bit higher in recent weakness, but still we are just around 16% levels of volatility. So what has happened post-COVID that India has somehow, it hasn't seen that much of volatility like the rest of the world. So this divergence in volatility has been quite positive for the Indian markets. And I don't see there is going to be a different trend in even in 2023. So amid low volatility and if FPI turns positive, because what happened that up to July 2022, we had seen continued selling pressure, and recently in last 2 months, or I would say 3 months, there was some flows. But where there has been a clear change of trend is further your technology pack. So in technology, after all, I believe almost 3 years, they have started buying a bit. So if there is a clear change of trend, and we might see in next couple of months, that would be more clear. But if that continues, then along with the banking, as I said, technology could be the one sector where that could lead the market a lot. So both BFSI and technology, they hold more than 50% weight in Nifty. So I believe these both BFSI and technology space will continue to lead the market in 2023.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us today, Raj. Great chatting with you on the show and getting a sense from you on what you're tracking going forward. Well, it has been pretty quiet. We're pretty much flat at the moment. But let's just take you through some of the gainers and losers on the exchange right now. Got some newsmakers as well. Something like a Strides is moving on a bit of news today. Europe is flat naturally, end of year. Rail stocks are moving. There's some action coming in there. Shriram Finance raising some funds. Not too much traction on the stock, but definitely in the news. At this point of time, we've got Titan, Indusin, Maruti, M&M, for example, some of the other gainers there. Apollo Hospitals, Bharti, Hindalco, Divi, some of the top losers in today's session so far. We'll take you through some of those. But Titans, in fact, having a pretty good day, and Mahindra & Mahindra also coming back to the fore. Whereas something like a Hindalco is now cooling off. Divi's, Bajaj Finserv hasn't been too active all week, in fact. So some of these names still on the downside. Well, other than that, limited action on some of the Adani names, for example. I'm just trying to pull up some of the Jubilant. Pharmanova has been in news all morning, so that's the other one, that we are looking at in today's session. Titans up 3%, Bharti's cooling off. It's pretty much even overall on the exchange. IT is taking a little bit of a knock today. Fertilizer names are still up and buzzing, for example. So a bunch of those that are still very much in the news. Adani Wilmar is buzzing today. Tata Tele, rail stocks, as I mentioned. RBL is up 4% or so. TPS has been moving steadily, so that's one that's continuing to catch our eye there. And auto ancillaries as well continue to move. Metro is up in today's session. Blue Dart's up about 2% as well. So smattering of those names as well across the board. But that's really a quick check on the market this afternoon. Slow and steady as we close in towards the end of the year. Thanks so much for watching. Shifting focus